So hey guys, welcome to another episode reaction for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is for episode 20. I had to look at the number there. This is for episode 20. And at this point in the series, I would highly recommend seeing Captain America 2, The Winter Soldier, if you haven't done so yet. Just because at this point in the series, they are very much in depth with things that happen in Captain America 2. They even talk about things that happen in Captain America 2, for example. And it's very important that you've seen the film by now in order to really understand what's really going on here, as S.H.I.E.L.D. has really become corrupted and Hydra is just taking over everything. And it's just very important that you catch up with the Marvel films in order to really get what's going on in the universe here. So I guess the best way for me to talk about this episode, since it would be kind of spoiler heavy if I went to really big details, I'm gonna be a little bit broad with this episode reaction, just because, like I said, there's just a lot of stuff covered right now at this point that if you're not caught up with the Marvel movies and the things that have been going on in the show lately, it might be a little hard to be caught up at this point. But I guess the best way to say it is basically S.H.I.E.L.D. It has more backstabbers revealed. For those who've watched some previous episodes of the show, the more recent ones, you'll know who kind of the backstabber of this group of lead characters are. That continues some more. Kind of how Agent Sky is handling this situation, since she's has to deal with it the most out of everybody. And for those who watched the previous episode, things with Agent May get explored, kind of, how she departed from the group, but is still a part of the group, but is doing things, that's away from the group. They explore that some more. And there's Deathlok returns in this episode, and so he kind of helps out with Hydra and people who are kind of behind the scenes right now, who are the evil guys, the bad guys, and kind of how Deathlok is kind of following commands, but there's still a side of him that remembers the things that were going on in previous episodes of the show. So he still has his human side a little bit. And so they kind of explore all those things in this episode. So like I said, it's very, I have to be broad with this episode, just because it's a very, if you're not caught up with the series, or if you're not caught up with the Marvel films also, it might be a little hard to kind of understand what's going on at this point. So like I said, really make sure you're caught up at this point, both with the show and with Captain America 2 specifically when it comes to the Marvel films, because it's very heavy on both of those things right now. So for positives and negatives of the episode, there's tons of Iron Man references, Captain America 2 references. Little cool thing you find out about Agent Maria Hill, since she's played by Kobe Smulders. She apparently has been doing stuff for Tony Stark and for Stark Industries ever since Captain America 2. So I thought that was kind of cool. They revealed that in the show here tonight. Iron Man references are all over the place, and Captain America 2 references are still very strong, specifically with all the Hydra stuff that's going on, with all the trust issues and things like that. This episode was also very good about thriller elements. It definitely felt like a thriller movie in this episode, so I thought that was really cool that they did that. Several earlier episodes now have more meaning. I think that's really cool. They talk about Deathlok. They talk about Mike Peterson, before he became Deathlok. They talk about, things that have been going on with Agent Ward, things that have been going on with Agent Sky. Kind of how that diner from the pilot episode is significant now. With Simmons and Fitz, that their relationships brought up a little bit again. Just almost everything that's been happening in the show so far was brought up somehow in tonight's episode, and I think that's really cool. How everything has meaning now, and and I really can't wait for the season finale. I really hope that they bring even more meaning to the show with the season finale. Tonight's episode also had a lot of real human emotion, specifically with Agent Sky. Chloe Bennett really nailed it in this episode. Just a ton of real emotion. It really feels like real human emotion, to the point where they're not even acting anymore. It really feels like Chloe Bennett is really expressing how she feels and how Sky feels about what's going on, and how she hates all these backstabbings that are going on, and how there's no form of honesty anymore. And it was just really cool to see that real human emotion going on here. really tense and gripping episode. This episode was really tense and gripping the entire time. I really like that. Just really tense, really gripping. I was engaged the whole time. So the episode does a very good job with that. Agent Maria Hill returns as a guest character. That's once again really cool. Kind of interesting to see what she's been doing and what she has to do ever since the events of Captain America 2. So I thought that was really interesting. Also, the use of Agent May was really neat. You'll find out more so toward the end of the episode, though. What's been going on with her, kind of what she's doing to make it up to Coulson, since, Coulson's still pretty mad with her about, keeping all these secrets from him and things like that, as to how he came back to life ever since the events of the Avengers. But for negatives of the episode, there was a small amount of green screen effects in this episode that I thought looked really, really bad, like to the point where like you could definitely tell like they were either rushing it or they ran out of money or something happened. There was one specific moment in this episode that really had some bad green screen. So, like I said, I don't know if they were just rushing to meet the deadline or if they ran out of money or what happened there, but some pretty bad green screen at one point in the episode. To make it more specific, it involves Agent Coulson and Agent Sky, and for those who've seen the episode, you'll probably know what moment I'm talking about. It's pretty ridiculously bad. There's some slight cheesy romantic moments in this episode. I guess without me spoiling something with this, there's one point in the episode where, Agent Sky is pretty flat out determined. She hates this one person. She can't stand to be around him and things like that. Something happens to the person that she just like had a whole monologue speech of, why she doesn't like this person anymore. And something happens that really makes it kind of give it like a Twilight, cheesy, romantic kind of thing going on as to how this character's still alive. It's like, oh, come on, give me a break. And so it was a little cheesy. It kind of went against all these really beautiful things that, Agent Sky just recently expressed about the person. And it got a little cheesy for me. But overall, it was a really fun episode. I really enjoyed tonight's episode a lot. Really can't wait for the season finale. I really hope it just ends perfectly. Really good episode. Like I said, I really like how this episode felt more like a thriller. I thought that was kind of really, that was a cool approach for the episode. So really neat episode, you guys. And I will hope you guys agree. Feel free to comment below if you liked it or didn't like tonight's episode. And I will see you here for a future reaction to a future Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode.